one of the things that I captured from yesterday's session in the morning was that the multilateral environment architecture initiatives are all connected, but the conflict, or rather the challenge that we face, is that the government is rather fragmented. So that was such a keynote for me, and I've just been meditating over it and getting more insights concerning it. Thank you.
Indeed, thank you so much for sharing that. And there is a resolution on the YEA-3 agenda this year as well to try to address that fragmentation. Thank you. That's a really important point. Anyone else who would like to share? Over there in the second row, Nada.
Good morning, everyone. I hope that you're doing great. So for me, a highlight yesterday is the migration climate nexus, because this is something I'm incredibly interested in. I didn't think that there's this much awareness in the room about it. And it was quite inspiring to see several youth initiatives around how they are supporting not just young people on the move, but the choice of young people to stay and preserving their cultural as well as their indigenous knowledge. So that for me was a highlight.
Thank you so much. And huge congrats to the organizers of that session, because I also heard some really amazing reflections from participants. Anyone else? Gentleman over there.
Thank you so much. I have quite a number, but I'll be brief. But I may rub shoulders with one or two. That is normal, because that is the reason why we are here. Now, my first concern are some terms that we are using. One, we are saying that youth should demand. What are we demanding? And who are we demanding from? That is one. My reflection is this: we have made we have a bad precedence from before, that always we have to demand. But look at it this way: in the next 10 or 15 years, everyone who is sitting in this room will not be youths. So it means they will be somewhere above where the youths are. Will we also expect youths continue demanding? Of course, yes, they will demand, because that is the precedence that has been set. According to me, this is what I'm thinking. Why don't we say that instead of demanding, we implement what is supposed to be implemented? Two, why don't we've had quite a number of resolutions, and even in this conference, in this assembly, we are also going to have also a number of resolutions. And we expect the next UNEA also to have resolutions. But do we also sit and take stock of whatever has been implemented? We rarely do that. Why? Because we are demanding. Now, to those who we expect to demand from, are they here? By now, there are very few. So even if we are demanding, most of us will demand, because the conference is 2 days. When our resolutions will be presented, most of us will not be there. So it means whatever we have demanded today may not even find its way to where the demand is supposed to be demanded. The next thing, we are talking about the reforms. Yesterday, we talked about the multilateral environmental agreements reforms. Now, and we've said that the frameworks are being fragmented. We need a change. Now I'm asking, why has there not been change? When did we start demanding for change? Of course, it has been for some times, and we will continue demanding for that change. Now, who is making the reforms and who is implementing the reforms? That is where the problem is, because whoever is making the reforms do not implement the reforms. And even if the time for implementing the reforms come, whoever made the reforms shall have forgotten that they made the reforms. So that is where the problem is. The last thing, sorry, I said that I would. The last thing, we talked of the complexity in terms of the multilateral agreements that we are coming up with. Why are they complex? They are complex because we are complex. Human beings are complex. So what is the solution? Is the human thinking. Let it not be that we expect someone to demand for us to change. Already we know what we are supposed to do. Why don't we start the little, whatever capacity you are in? For the youths, we have a lot that we can do as youths. We need not to demand. We need to act on whatever little that we can do as youths. And with that, when you pass that youth stage, continue with that spirit. Don't expect someone from behind you to continue demanding. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your reflections. Really appreciate it. And that focus on implementation is definitely very important. So that's something we should keep in mind for today. So whenever you see policymakers join us here on stage, please ask them about what they're already doing in their communities and what initiatives they're making sure that are happening on the ground. When it comes to making sure that the ideas that are being shared during this session actually make it to the agenda during OECPR and UNEA. Yesterday, we shared some of our CYMG position papers, which we will be sharing with member states during the negotiations and advocating for over the next 2 weeks. So please make sure you contribute to those to make sure that your ideas make it there. And secondly, today at the end of this day, we will also be consulting on the Global Youth Declaration, which is the statement of CYMG priorities and policy solutions, which will also be presented to the policymakers and member states at UNEA. So make sure that you contribute to that discussion and that your ideas are reflected there as well. Maybe we can take one more quick reflection and then we move on. Over there, please.
So, greetings. My name is Kimani Lucy Wanjera, a young female leader, founder of Fresh Haven. Just to mention, Fresh Haven helps farmers reduce post-harvest losses by increasing the shelf life 2 to 3 weeks using solar-powered cold storages. I thought I should mention that. So thank you so much. I won't dwell on what was said yesterday and what was not said because my colleagues might do that as the day goes on. However, you mentioned that we should ensure that our ideas get to the tables. And he mentioned that we are a part of the policy making, but we are never a part of the implementation. We do not want our ideas to get to the tables. We want to be at the table because we are the people holding the ideas. We are the people carrying the ideas. We are the people that will enact the change. We cannot keep giving our ideas to people that do not understand that we are at a crossroad in every sector. We are talking about environment. We are at a crossroad. We are implementing the ideas. We are giving the ideas to you to go implement. We have the know-how. We have the idea. We have the how. So don't tell us to give the policies to get to the tables. Ensure that we sit at the tables. Thank you.
Very well said. Thank you so much. So I hope you're energized for today. Just very briefly on housekeeping before we get started. Please make sure when the sessions are happening in this room, so CR1 as well as CR3 on the other side of the corridor, please try to be in the rooms and try to use the breaks and the lunchtime for networking outside if possible, just to make sure that we take the opportunity to attend the sessions when they're happening in the rooms. Secondly, on lost and found, if you have lost anything, you can approach the UNEP information desk on the first floor closer to the entry upstairs. And we're also looking for camera lens. If anyone has found that, that would be much appreciated if you could approach me or one of the members of the coordination team. Then, as Alphonse already mentioned a little bit earlier, please make sure that you use refillable bottles because we generated a lot of waste yesterday. So it'd be great if you could just keep the bottles that you have, hold on to them and just refill them over there or at other stations. We will also close today at 5:30 sharp. So we need to make sure that we are on time. So please be in the room a few minutes if possible before the session start and be ready to depart the venue at 5:30. And lastly, for the local Kenyan delegates supported by CYMG, those of you who are staying at Tobriana Hotel, please approach Alphonse who can help you with getting your stipend and signing the relevant documents. Is Alphonse in the room and can you identify yourself? Oh yeah, over there, gentlemen. So please approach him if you're a Kenyan local delegate staying at the Tobriana Hotel. Now on to today's agenda. We have ahead of us 11 capacity building sessions, including 2 workshop style sessions and the consultation at the end. So a really full agenda. Let me just walk quickly through what to expect today, so you can also reflect on which of the simultaneous sessions you would like to join. So straight after this opening at 10 a.m. sharp, we will start with 2 simultaneous sessions. One in CR1, so this room we're currently in, will be a dialogue on UNEP's 2026 to 29 medium-term strategy and program of work. And simultaneously, we will be having a generation restoration session, which is an interactive session exploring youth-led ecosystem restoration approaches on the other side of the corridor in CR3. We will then immediately after those sessions continue with 2 parallel sessions on technologies and governance for responsible mineral resource stewardship, which will explore supply and demand side approaches to transition mineral extractivism to responsible mineral resource stewardship, and at the same time a session on aligning educational system and labor markets with green transition needs. We will then move to lunch at 12 noon, and at the same time, we will also have a lunch session for those who are interested, which will include a special session launching the Global Waste Management Outlook. After lunch, in the afternoon, we will continue with the next round of the parallel sessions. So first, at 12:45, we will have a workshop-style session on the environmental science policy interface. And at the same time, or 15 minutes later, we will have a parallel session titled the Ocean Action Dialogue, Protecting Common Heritage and Humankind and Biodiversity. Then at 2 p.m., we will have a session focused on youth for values and planet, exploring the role of spiritual and indigenous communities in advancing ambitious environmental action. And a parallel session at 2:15, which will introduce the GEO7 assessment and how it can be used for advocacy, accountability, and action. And then we will move to a short coffee break and the last round of parallel sessions. So that's a session at 3:15 on antimicrobial resistance through the lens of One Health, and Youth to Beat Pollution, a rights-based and intergenerational approach. Finally, as mentioned already earlier, we will close with a consultation on the executive summary on the Global Youth Declaration on the Environment. And we will actually be sharing a QR code shortly. Not sure if we have that yet. So please make sure, if you have not received the document for the CYMG constituency mailing list, you will be able to access that by scanning the QR code, which we will shortly share on the screen. Make sure that you read the whole document, as today we will only have an hour for the consultation, so we will focus on the executive summary exclusively. But to have a really good conversation on that, we need all of the people joining the discussion to be familiar with the whole document. So make sure you find a few minutes to just skim through that. And with that, let's get started. Enjoy day 2, and we will start at 10 a.m. sharp. Thank you so much. Just super quickly that you can now scan the QR code to see the full text of the Global Youth Declaration on the screen. Please note that the body of the text has already been agreed and as final has been circulated with the constituency, so hopefully you have all seen it. And we will be discussing the executive summary today. Please scan the QR code to download the document and familiarize yourself with it. Thank you so much and enjoy.